Okay, so now on to part 2 of making our spider web. This time we're going to add color in a different way. We're going to do something called printmaking. So what I did is I took a piece of tinfoil, and you can see I started with yellow, and I made a yellow circle in the center. Then I took my yellowy green, and I kind of, almost like when we were making our rays of our sun, I'm going to make them extend out a little bit, and I like to use the side because it gives me a thicker line. If I just use the tip, then I only get a thin line, so it's better to use the side. So I'm going to use all different shades of color coming from here. Now I'm on an orangey yellow, going all the way around, all the way around. Not sure, I feel like I'm using Roy G. Biv, or the warm colors so far. I used yellow, orangey yellow. I think I'll go with the orange and stick with that. Going all the way around. So you notice I'm using the side, so that's giving me a nice thick line. And what we're going to do, and you're probably wondering what this has to do with your spider web, this is what we're going to print on. We're going to add color to the back of our spider web using printmaking. And printmaking means that you are going to be able to take a print off of something, kind of like a stamp. And so here we go. I'm going to keep going till I do at least enough to color my paper. And you can make more than one print. That means that, kind of like when they make a book, they don't write the book by hand each time, they print it. That means they make more than one copy. So you can see it doesn't look like an exploding sun. And I'll finish up maybe with some purple. Purple, purple, purple. And I guess I didn't do it in the right order for Roy G. Biv, right? I put the purple instead of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So I'm just turning it around because in here my yellow came first. So it's like, this is like the colors. Purple's usually the last one. It's going to go right next to red. And maybe I'll finish it up with blue. You could go on and do any other colors too, green, whatever you like. I like to overlap a little bit. So I'm overlapping on the purple. And then if you had a spray bottle, you could spray your paper to get it wet. And you're probably wondering, why do I need it wet? Well, you need it wet because you're going to need to get this onto your paper. So if you remember, I have my spider web here, and I was demonstrating how to add color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a print. I'm going to reuse this one for now. But first, before I do that, let me move this for a second. Oops, my pen is leaking. Gotta put it a little tighter. I'm going to just, hold on. I think maybe I better do it on this one because this is still a little leaky. All right, so I'm going to put you over there for a minute. I'm going to just make more of my spider web so you can see it better. And you could always draw after you take a print, but I'm going to just draw before so you know it's my spider web. Maybe one more and I will stop for now. Okay, there we go, spider web. So now what I want to do is I want to get this paper wet. So I'm going to use my finger since my brush, I didn't clean it off really good. Although I do have a brush here. Let me find the brush. There you go. Instead of my finger. I'm just going to wet my paper. Wet it, wet it, wet it, wet it, wet it. Got to really make it wet. And you'll notice I use the permanent marker so that when I do this, it doesn't smear all over the place. But make sure you get it very, very wet. There's the brush I'm looking for. I got a thicker brush this time. Wetting my paper, and you could do this with a sponge even. A sponge probably would be better. If you do it with a sponge, it will cover the whole area quickly. And you really want it wet, so make sure it's very wet. I want to get right up here in the corner. Okay, So now that my paper is wet, I'm going to put my piece of foil there. I'm going to very carefully place it, and I'm going to rub. Just gently pat it into place first, because I want those colors to end up on my paper. It's like I'm giving it a back rub. Gently, not too rough. I don't want the paper to get all wrinkly, and I don't want the foil to get all wrinkly. And I'm going to give it a second to kind of get on there. Give it a little rub, little rub all the way around. Now you'll notice that I won't have it all over my paper because I didn't make my foil and my paper the same size. But I just want to show you the effect you can get. All right. You ready to see what happens? So am I. I hope it works. Oh my goodness. Look at how beautiful my print is. Look at how beautiful. You can see there's spots I missed, right? Some spots I missed. I could probably go back and even just press it on there if I wanted to. Let's see. Press it there. Maybe need a little more water. But I kind of like the way it looks all on its own. Maybe add a little more there. Oh, there it is. I got some more out there. And that is how we can also color our spider web. We did a print. And now you can clean off your foil and do it again if you like to make a print like that. You can color it like this if you like. Lots of different techniques to try in adding color. And any other ones you want. Crayon, markers, colored pencils, whatever you like. But printmaking is really fun to try. It's a nice way to get this effect where they blend so beautifully. You don't get that same line you get here, which is a nice change. And I kind of even like how you can see some of those white spaces still there. It almost looks like sponge painting. All right, so I'm gonna just give you a quick how-to on the spider for somebody who might want to make the spider. You can look it up on YouTube. That's what I did. You're going to take some strips. You're going to need about 5 strips. So I have 1. I probably could cut that in half like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You do not need to make a spider. There's lots of ways to make spiders, but I'm just going to show you how I made the one I made. 3, 4, and I'm going to need 1 more for the antenna. Okay. So once you do that, you're going to crunch, 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 crunch. You're going to make a long, skinny stick out of that foil. This is just a good way to recycle your foil when you're done if you want to. It's not easy, so that's why I'm saying if a grown-up wants to help you, they can. You're going to make 6 sticks. Yeah, I'm rolling it to make it a little bit tighter. A little bit tighter. 1, 2, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Twist, twist, twist. I'm turning and twisting like this, because if I twist like that, they'll probably break. So now I have my second one done. And so I'm going to do that with all of them. And mine aren't the same length this time because I didn't cut as carefully. But you can always watch on YouTube. If you look up tinfoil spider, you will find how to make a spider. That's what I did. There's a couple of different people showing a couple of different ways to do it. So when we create an art, it doesn't always have to be the same way of doing something. Sometimes we learn to try something different for ourselves. All right, so I have 4, and the legs aren't too bad to do. It's the middle part of the body that usually gives people trouble. So I'm gonna show you, and then, like I said, the artists who are demonstrating it, they did it lots of different ways. I'm gonna choose the easiest. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes 5. And I'll show you my spider. There he is. Those are the legs. What we're making right now are the legs. Okay, I've got my 5th one here. There we go. And then I'm going to take one more long strip like this. And I'm going to make one part the body, and I have to make that pretty big. So I'm going to roll it into a little fat body. And then what I want to do is after I roll the fat body, I want to make like a long strip like that. So that part's going to be the part that holds the legs in place. So there's the body, and here is where I'm going to add the legs. 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to just make sure it's like laid out even on both sides. You can see mine's a little long. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and roll it over, and roll it over, and that is the start of that. And now you can pinch. There's the body. And now here, I'm going to start pulling my legs into place. And you can see I have all different sizes of legs. And you can fiddle with it. And instead of leaving them flat, you may want it to look like he's standing, standing, standing. This guy's a really long leg, so I'm going to just pull him down. And I can continue squeezing. And then I might just cut these 2 off and make these 2 the antenna. There we go, like that. So again, not so easy for you guys maybe to make, but if a grown-up is there and says, hey, would you like a spider for your spider web so we don't throw away the foil? Whoop, this guy needs some work. This guy needs some work. There, that's good enough for me. There's my spider. Lots of different ways to make spiders. You can also take one of your index cards like this. Where are your index cards? Here we go. You can use some of your skills you learned last week. You could trace a circle, a cup. There it is. You could give it 2 giant eyes like this. And remember how we used our paper strips last week? So I'm going to just leave half like this. I'm going to cut out my shape of my circle, little snips. Remember, turn your paper. Turn your paper. Turn your paper. There's my body. And now for the legs, instead of using foil, I could make strips. You could use longer paper if you want to just do it that way. How many do I have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I can use my scrap here to make the antennas. So we would do the same backward, forward fold if you want. Boop, boop. And then you can give him some wiggly legs to glue on. Like that, right? And you can put your spider on your web. So we'll talk about that when we're together in live art class, but I just wanted to show you how you could get started on a spider and a spider web, and we might even make a spider headband. We have 2 days to do that, so have fun.